put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome to Youth Wednesdays here on the Tobago Updates Morning Show. We're joining you live from the Port Mall in Scarborough, Tobago. It's a lovely Wednesday morning. It's the middle of the week, and of course, you know that we're here to give you that bit of youthful vibe and energy. We want to send a special good morning to all of our viewers on Facebook, YouTube, and Channel 102 on Amplia. My name is Kaylee Lewis.
And I am Dwayne Nurse. Good morning and welcome back to Youth Wednesdays. I mean, we've missed you all week since last Wednesdays. It feels like a whole year. I know you guys miss us too. Because we bring the whole vibe here on Tobago Updates Television, here at Port Mall, Scarborough, Tobago. A special good morning goes out to those who are viewing us on our varying platforms, YouTube, Facebook, and Amplia Channel 102. Good morning, and I'm also joined with...
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Kaylee, and good morning, Dwayne. Happy to join your youthful vibe and vigor to encourage our viewers for the rest of the week.
All right.
So what has been happening in this space? I think there's one very significant thing.
Come on. That is very... You're going into shark-infested waters. we don't want to go down in shark-infested waters now, right? But yes, we know of this prominent issue that has been brewing in the space about the shark attack to one of our visitors on the island. It's came as a surprise to us because, you know, here in Tobago we are surrounded by beaches, and we have never really heard something of this nature, you know. And there's a lot more about that story that I don't think we should discuss here and now.
Yeah,
you know,
it's a very unfortunate situation, but you know, we have one of the stakeholders coming in this morning to chat a little bit about their views and their take on it. Certainly.
And to the family of the visitor, our empathies goes out to you from the Youth Wednesday show and Tobago Updates. I heard that he's faring well, and that is very good. That is very good.
I think we should commend our health team as well at Scarborough General.
Yes,
they acted quickly and they got everything sorted, and now he's on his way to recovery.
Right, and on that note, I just hope that, you know, they keep up the pace there with, you know, just a bit of encouragement. You know, you guys are doing so well. You set the trend. You move so expeditiously that, you know, it's very commendable.
I have to go there sometime soon, and I hope I get
the same treatment.
Great service.
Yes,
excellent.
Just ask for the doctors who dealt with the guy.
Okay, so we want to head right over to news in 90 seconds with Natalia Nances.
News in 90 seconds is brought to you by Standards, never beaten on quality and prices.
Thank you, Dwayne and Kaylee. Here is your news in 90 seconds for Wednesday, 1st May 2024. Chief Secretary Farley Augustine has led a delegation from Tobago to the Caribbean Council's 2024 Annual Reception and Business and Investment Seminar in London, England, from May 1st to 2nd. The Caribbean Council will hold its Business and Investment Seminar at the High Commission of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, focusing specifically on Tobago this year. The Chief Secretary is expected to deliver the keynote address. In Augustine's absence, Deputy Chief Secretary Dr. Faith V. Israel will serve as acting Chief Secretary. The Environmental Management Agency has launched an investigation into the devastation of a turtle nesting site at Turtle Beach. A distressing video circulating on social media depicted the distressing sight of the turtle eggs destroyed. Allegedly, a private developer is responsible for these destructive actions as part of their beachfront development work. With the turtle nesting season in Tobago from March to September, it is anticipated that turtles will come ashore to nest. In response, the EMA is urgently appealing to Tobagonians to identify the perpetrators of this atrocity and promptly report any pertinent information to them. National Transformation Alliance leader Gary Griffith questioned statements made by National Security Minister Fitzgerald Hines about 56 missing firearms spanning from 2018 to 2023, as disclosed during the Senate yesterday. These firearms comprise 42 legally owned by private individuals and 14 allocated to members of the Police Service, Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force, and Prison Service. However, Hines could not ascertain whether any of these firearms were subsequently involved in criminal activities. In response, Griffith remarked on the peculiar focus solely on firearms law since 2018, highlighting that no firearms issued to civilians between 2018 and 2021 were reported lost, stolen, or linked to crimes. He attributed this to the rigorous criteria and stringent processes implemented from 2018 to 2021, requiring firearm user license applicants to meet 14 specific criteria before obtaining a license. And that was your news in 90 seconds.
Life is good with Zero. Zero interest for 6 months. Zero down payments. Zero stress payment plan. That's right. With Standards, my terms, we are putting the power of Zero in your hands. Now, you can get that new sectional, fridge, stove, or TV for zero down. Pay zero interest later and enjoy a zero stress payment plan plus quick approval within 48 hours. Standards, never beaten on quality and prices.
Thank you, Natalia, for that wonderful read of the news. So, it's the 1st of May, the first day in the month, and we have some birthdays that we want to celebrate. So, who do we have up this morning?
First, we have Latoya Anderson. A happy belated birthday goes out to you from the Tobago Updates family. I hope you do enjoy.
Happy birthday to Mr. Kevin Phillips. I hope you do enjoy your birthday. Special birthday greetings coming from the Tobago Updates family.
All right.
And I want to say a very special happy belated birthday to my granny. She celebrated 80 years yesterday. She looks absolutely gorgeous.
I see where it comes from. I see where
gorgeous. Yes, it runs in the family. Absolutely gorgeous.
It walks and runs.
Happy belated birthday to you, Granny. She had an absolutely wonderful night last night. You could see the backdrop there, everything that was happening. Very, very wonderful. We appreciate her so much. Yes, we love. Yes, her hair is gorgeous.
Yes,
that is her signature. That's her signature. How gorgeous, gorgeous hair. So happy belated birthday to you again, Granny, and I hope that you continue to enjoy the rest of your week.
All right, and next we have Ayana Brassi. Good morning and happy birthday goes out to you with your impeccable smile. I hope you enjoy your happy birthday.
Next, we have Mrs. Sylvia Wilson Murray. Happy birthday to you and God's blessings on your day.
Next, celebrating today, we have Aria Stewart. Happy birthday to you, Aria Stewart, coming out from your mommy and your daddy. I know that your mommy is going to buy you everything that you want today, cake, ice cream, just ask for it and you're going to get it. Happy birthday to you, Aria.
All right, and certainly last but not least, we have, drum roll please. That sounds like more like gunshots than drum. And certainly last but not least, we have
Next, we have Noella Brasnell celebrating her birthday today. Happy birthday to you, Noella, coming out from the Tobago Updates family. We hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. Have an amazing day. We see that she's here having a little fun. I think this was probably last year, some other time. I'm not sure when this was. But we hope that they treat you very well today, very special. And we hope that you have an amazing day. Happy birthday to you.
All right. We don't even know. Okay. So, guys, we have to give you the rundown, and we have a quite interesting rundown for you this morning.
But I think before the rundown, we had a little bit of news that we wanted to share.
Well, yes.
Something important that we wanted to share.
Can we?
Is it okay if we share it now, or should we give the rundown first? Okay, yes, we can share it now. Youth Talks, Chill and Chat, hosted by the Tobago Youth Council, starting today, May 1st, and they're going to be having it the first Wednesday in every month. So this morning at the Scarborough Library from 4:30 to 6 p.m. we have youth talks, chill, and chats. So make sure to send out your young ones, young people. Make sure to come out to youth talks, chill, and chats this morning. Tobago Updates is actually going to be covering the events live, so you could tune in on the Tobago Updates social media to view the event also. So today's session is going to be unemployment versus underemployment, a very interesting topic. Yeah, so if you can't make it in person, you can be sure to tune in on Tobago Updates social media to be a part of this amazing event. So kudos to the Tobago Youth Council on this initiative.
Yes. All right, so for rundown this morning, we're going to be talking about Tobago Literacy and Social Intervention Program launch. And we're going to have Mr. Christopher, the director of Arrow Foundation, joining us for that interview this morning. And the next, we have Men of Purpose, and we have Mr. Richard Lord, coordinator, having that interview this morning. And certainly last but not least, we're going into shark-infested waters this morning, and we're going to be discussing compensation for the reef, tour and boat operators at Buko and around the island. And we're going to have Mr. Michael Frank, owner of Frankie Tours, coming to have that discussion this morning. So this is our rundown for you this morning. I hope you're interested, and remember to share the live, share the live, share the live.
TWCU Credit Union Cooperative Society Limited notifies all members of its 74th Annual General Meeting at the Center of Excellence, Tunapuna and Shore Park Complex, Tobago, on Saturday, 11th May 2024, commencing at 1 p.m. Items on the agenda include minutes of the 73rd AGM, Board of Directors and other committee reports, election of officers, presentation of audited accounts 2023, recommendations, dividends 2023, and resolutions, budget proposal 2024, amendments to bylaws. Registration for the meeting can be done online via the Society's website at www.twcu.co.tt, their main office at number 31 Pembroke Street, Port of Spain, Trinidad, or their Tobago unit at Port Mall Shopping Center, Scarborough, Tobago. Deadline for registration is Wednesday, 1st May 2024 at 3 p.m. In order to safeguard the health and safety of all persons in attendance, COVID-19 protocol measures will be observed. For further information, please contact the Society at 623-4444. TWCU Credit Union Cooperative Society Limited. Our credit union, one family.
Need a fresh start? Upgrade your life with the things you want. At Standard Distributors in Canaan, life is good with zero. Get that amazing fridge, the stylish sofa with zero down and easy financing. Your dream house is within reach. Visit Standard Distributors today. Life is good with zero.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome back to Youth Wednesdays here on the Tobago Updates morning show. This morning, we're going to be chatting with Mr. Christopher Bonte, and he's going to be talking to us about the Tobago Literacy and Social Intervention Program launch. Good morning to you, Mr. Bonte. Okay, I think we're getting a little bit of issues with your audio. Can we try that again?
Delighted to be here.
Oh, okay, great. We're hearing you now. Good morning to you, Mr.
Wonderful to be.
Bonte.
Thank you so much. Delighted to be on Tobago Updates.
Okay, wonderful. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Who is Christopher Bonte?
Right, so I'm one of the directors of the Arrow Foundation. Arrow is a literacy intervention NGO that's been operating in Trinidad and Tobago for well over 16 years. It's also been around for sort of 50 years in the UK, but we've been working Caribbean over the last number of years with social intervention programs, with literacy intervention programs, and I'm very much involved with the training and development of teachers, communities, community centers, and the like.
The Arrow Foundation, you said that it's an international foundation. You all exist in the UK, in Trinidad and Tobago also. Were there any partnerships that you all would have probably done with your fellow clubs in the UK?
Yeah, so Arrow, the foundation is the Caribbean version of the UK literacy intervention program. And what we do is we provide this literacy intervention to schools throughout Trinidad and Tobago over the last 16 years. And we did do some small interventions in Tobago many years ago. In Jamaica, we run programs as well as secondary schools and also community centers and communities. So we work with police youth clubs. We've worked with funding organizations to provide literacy centers, literacy corners. But our key focus, if you like, is literacy intervention, giving every child, every young person a fighting chance.
Okay, and how important would you say that is in Trinidad and Tobago in terms of the illiteracy rates among our population? How important would you say the programs that you all do are?
Well, our programs start by assessing children and assessing youth and assessing adults, so we can get a very good idea of where, for instance, a standard 3 class is in relation to their chronological age. We can see where their reading and spelling ages are. So we're able to see and say that this class or these individuals need the intervention program, and by extension, we can identify what the literacy rates are, if you like. A bit of a difficult word to sort of, what the literacy rates are like for that particular standard. So if you're asking me illiteracy rates, they're up and down. They are chronic challenges, not unique to Tobago, not unique to Trinidad, not unique to England, not unique to Jamaica. There are a lot of problems where literacy is concerned, and that has to do a lot with COVID. It also has a lot to do with the change of the family structure, and new breakthroughs that we're identifying that perhaps we didn't realize before. So it is a problem. It's why we're here, and we've been doing this, and I've been involved with this for sort of 16 years now. There are some lessons that we need to learn about literacy and children and learning, and that's what we're hoping to be able to do with this social intervention program.
Okay, and I can assume that it'll be easier to reach children in terms of the program that you're doing. But for adults, would you say that illiteracy is very taboo in Trinidad and Tobago? And how do persons overcome that and push themselves to be a part of the program without feeling that sort of embarrassment?
Yes, yeah, a lot of adults are in denial. I mean, we run a literacy intervention program for adults in the Point Lisas project in Trinidad. And we have some challenges because people are a bit reluctant to come forward and admit that they have a challenge. I would say that for someone who's struggling with illiteracy, you're not unique. You're not unique in the Caribbean. You're not unique in Europe, in America. There are programs that can quickly help you. A program like Arrow makes very fast intervention results. Over 5, 6, 7 hours, we can start changing somebody's reading and spelling ability. So I would say you need to, and particularly for adults who have children, who want to support their children and who want to perhaps read to them or listen to them read. There are programs that can help you that make such a difference in quality of life. And programs like Arrow, which do short, sharp, quick interventions, focused, helping you to get that skill, they are available. You should jump on to get it done.
Okay. And what has your experience been like so far? Have you met any persons that you remember till today? What has the experience been like assisting persons?
So I've been involved for a long time. I've been doing this for 16 years. So I've worked in 300 schools in Trinidad and some Tobago and in Jamaica and the UK. So I work with thousands of children, and adults. But in the past, we had short interventions which made some difference because we took your most vulnerable, if you like, children, the most challenged children in a school perhaps or in a community, and we worked with them on a short 10-hour program. And we got really good results. But the interventions that are developed now, like this social intervention program that we will be partnering with the THA in Tobago, what we're doing now is we're manifesting a whole cacophony of programs. Not only are we bringing the brain-based software into schools and communities, but we're working with partners to provide workshops and to provide seminars to show people where perhaps blockages are in people's learning, trauma-informed programs, and the like. So we have a whole community attack, if you like, including the schools. In response to your question about memory of people I've worked with, I've never ever seen a young child or a youth who doesn't want to learn, who doesn't want to be told, "You've done really well, congratulations." You sound so eloquent when you read. There is not one child in the thousands of children I've worked with who don't want to be told that. Everybody wants to be praised, everybody wants to read, everyone wants to be able to articulate. And I think that's something that we need to be aware about. Children who are difficult, children who may give us problems, children who are really challenging to work with. They do have challenges and they do have problems, but we need to circumnavigate and see what those problems are, what those challenges are, and get the programs to them once those blockages have been removed.
Okay, and in terms of the success of the program so far, because you said you've been doing it for quite some time, do you think that you all have made a significant impact on the population in Trinidad and Tobago, the UK, Jamaica, wherever else you host these programs?
Yes. So our focus obviously is the Caribbean, and we have reports. So all our work is done and is evaluated. So every time we go into a school, if we go into a community, if we go into a number of schools, we will assess children. We will assess the youth, and then after the program, we will do another assessment to see how well they've improved. Over the years, we've done some research, and some of the research has been independent and internationally certified and published, which shows the efficacy of Arrow when working with children, when working with youth. So I would say the Arrow program is a powerful intervention to help schools, to help teachers, to help children. And I think the program does significant work in rewiring, if you like, the individual's brain, helping children grasp concepts so they can get back onto where they need to be. So children who are struggling can perhaps get back onto the level of their peers. And I think a lot more work needs to be done. We've realized, wow, and COVID has sort of created another vacuum, but But yes, I think this program really makes, and I can stand here hand on heart. I've been doing this for 16 years. This program can make a real difference to thousands and thousands of children all over the Caribbean, and once we're given the opportunity to do so, and it's something that we're looking forward and hoping to do.
Okay, so let's speak specifically now to the Tobago Literacy and Social Intervention Program launch. Tell us about
Yes. So we're embarking on a social intervention program, literacy social intervention program, in collaboration with THA, and we're looking at some pilot schools and communities. The idea is we work with some primary schools and some community centers in those areas. So we'll be working initially with Bon Accord and Mason Hall. We will also be working with some of the centers in Bethel as well, and we'll be providing literacy. So we provide a software program. Each school gets training. All the teachers who are trained become internationally certified, and then the Arrow team works with these schools to get these teachers ready. They then get the program, they get the software and computers. A literacy center is set up in their school, and that program runs at that school, giving the opportunity for each child to benefit from the intervention, and that's there. Software is there for 5 years. On top of that, we're working with the youth and community leaders, community coordinators. So we will have centers that are kitted out similar to the schools with the software, with the computers that people can access, but we're also providing workshops for information on trauma. If you need support and you think that somebody's experienced trauma, because we all have some form of trauma, and quite often that prevents us from learning. And if people have fallen through the cracks of school and now they're out and about and not so these centers will work in tandem with the schools, so we can help the entire community in terms of development, literacy, but also social development. The idea will be that each school will work in tandem with Arrow Foundation in Trinidad, and once these schools the teachers have been trained, and once they're ready, we will slowly pull back and let them continue this work on their own. But the idea is that every child in the school gets the opportunity to go on the intervention program. Every coordinator that's trained will have the opportunity to work with individuals in the community, and we will help those communities in providing these workshops and seminars for individuals and for people in that community. I'd like to also say that the CHA Education and Division of Youth have been particularly helpful and agreeable with putting the program in place, and have made it a pleasure to sort of get things ready and get things moving. We're excited about this program. This program is a new program in that we're not just focusing on a school, we're focusing on the entire community. And the brain-based program which we work with is foolproof. If we can ensure that it is used, it is accessed in the schools and in the community, all the children in the school, their literacy levels can raise. Anyone who accesses the program can improve their literacy. That includes adults. And also, these useful programs, trauma-informed yoga for young people, for young mothers, all these programs will be introduced in the centers to make sure that we have a sort of holistic development program, which the intention is that provides a blueprint for ongoing to other schools and other communities.
Okay. And in terms of the event details as it relates to the program launch specifically, when will that be happening?
So the launch is tomorrow. The program launch will be tomorrow. It will be hosted at the Education Division, and I think that begins at 11 o'clock. Quote me, after 11, where we will be able to present the program. There will be some keynote speakers there. Obviously, we're hoping we have some representatives from education, and there will, and on top of that, there will be a launch as well for the youth element, the community element of the program, which I believe will be another launch hosting next week. But the launch tomorrow, the education launch will be hosted at 11 o'clock.
Wonderful. And before you leave, can you just give us your social media information and your contact information as well, so that persons can reach out to you if it is they feel as though they need some type of assistance?
Right. So I suppose off the top of my head, ROTT is our Facebook link. I mean, arrowlearn@aol.com is another element, is another contact that can get us on. If I gave our telephone number, if people have particular challenges and they want some information, the center number is 624-9063. Arrowlearn@aol.com would be the email, and ROTT is our Facebook tag.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Bonte, for coming on and speaking with us this morning. I think that it's a really excellent initiative, and congratulations to you and your team for the work that you have been doing so far. Viewers, we're going to take a short break and we are going to be right back. Remember to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Tipsy presents Sip and Paint, an expression of a mother's love. Join us at the Tropicist Beach Hotel, Sunday, May 12th from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Guests are entitled to finger foods and wine. Full package painter tickets only $600. And if you just want to hang out, we've got you. Limers pay $450. You'll be entertained by a special sensational reggae artist, a live band, and come witness our bonfire. We've got loads of giveaways. We're catering to mom all evening. Sunday, May 12th, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Tropicist Beach Hotel. Come, sip and paint with Tipsy.
She ride the wave, come jump in the range, and jump funny, that's much your money mean. Don't need your love, that I cost me for pay. Like King Solomon, a bag a girl to me name. Every girl rock out, Lord, rock out. Me say hot girl, understand your time to step out. Big bumper girl, your time to get scrub out. Hand on your knee, you treat a girl and your body. And every girl I get wild out tonight. Wild party in my out tonight. If she suck me, a fine out tonight. I don't know what a wild out tonight. Out the blue light, I try out the back. This is how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up below. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show.
Deltec Distributors Weekend Special Wings Friday. 3 pounds wings, 2.5 kilogram fries. Special 100 TT. Soup Saturday. 2 pounds cube beef, 2 pounds cow heel, 2 pounds chicken foot, 2 pounds pigtail, or smoked bone. Special $150. Super Sunday. 3 pounds leg and thigh chicken, 3 pounds sliced pork, 3 pounds lamb slice, 3 pounds cheese, 2 pack of pasta. Special $250. Located Main Road, Argyle, Tobago. We deliver 20 TT. Contact us on deltecdistributors.com 395-5040 or 237-0102. Deltec Distributors Weekend Special. The best place to stay in Tobago is at Thorn's Place, with rates starting as low as 200 TT. Call or WhatsApp 745-7306 or 682-8676. We are located uptown Scarborough, 5 minutes away from the port. Remember, at Thorn's Place, our aim is to make your stay safe and affordable.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
For those of you just joining us, for those of you just waking up, for those of you having your morning cup of tea, I want to thank you so much for joining us here on Tobago Updates Youth Wednesdays. Right, so we have an interesting interview for you this morning. We are joined here with Mr. Richard Lord. He is the coordinator of Men of Purpose. He's here to tell us a little bit about that program. So, Mr. Lord, good morning to you. How are you this morning?
I'm good. I'm fine. All
right, nice to have you here.
It's a pleasure to be here.
What is Men of Purpose and what inspired you to start this initiative?
Men of Purpose is a group that has been formed, myself and 3 other men. We formed this group basically to mentor younger men and to reestablish them into society. Our inspiration came from a burden and a vision that I had of Tobago. In particular, I saw where Tobago was currently. It's a couple of years ago, about 2016 there. And I saw where Tobago would potentially come to if serious intervention didn't happen. And over the years, we saw the progressive decline in social fabric and the outfall. So we're here as Men of Purpose. We inaugurated in 2018 officially, but we've been working before that. And we are now trying to forge ahead very aggressively into the agenda that we have.
And this aggressive agenda, who is your target audience?
We're looking at, initially we were looking at men between the age of 18 to 35. But what we found is that we are getting a lot of younger teenagers. Yes. What we're trying to do now is to try to stem the flow of that kind of behavior, so to speak, into mainstream society. If you go around Tobago, you see a number of young men on the street. We're trying to curb the flow so that we could capture a group of young men currently which we want to bring back into the social structure of Tobago. And if we could stem the flow, in other words, if we could find a means of dealing with those younger men, I call them men, younger men, then we could rehabilitate the whole of Tobago, so to speak.
Okay, and do you see a more positive outcome starting with them at a younger age? Because I know you said 18 to 35 at one point, but now you're targeting, well, you're getting requests for young men who come in at a younger age.
Yeah.
So do you think it would have a more positive yield when you target them at such a young age?
Yeah, they're more impressionable at that age. You could work with them. It's easier to work with them. We find that they are now learning new behavior patterns by mixing with the older group. So we could interface and interfere and interrupt that process.
Right.
We could make a difference.
Okay. And what is the main goal of Men of Purpose? Who is a man of purpose after going through this program?
Yeah. It's interesting because if you understood what Tobago, when you say, for example, you go to Trinidad and you say, that's a Tobagonian, there was a level of respect. There was something different that the people greeted you by, mere reference to Tobago. And that came out of the fact that we had a productive capacity. We had a really Christian-like behavior. We had a social interface, and you could say good morning, you could go in and pick some mangoes here, there was a different way we socialized. And we begin to lose that kind of identity. So what we will have to do is to restore what is Tobago. What is patriotic Tobago? What is that person that identifies themselves as a Tobagonian in all of these facets? And we have to bring it back because as far as you may, for example, from the administrative structure of Tobago, let's say the Tobago House of Assembly, the government, putting programs into place to help.
Aid these young men, yes.
There is an undermining kind of culture that is emerging, behavior that is emerging. So no matter how much you put these into place, unless we fix a certain level of social structure and behavior, it will undermine all the efforts. The money will go to waste. I mean, the use to which the money is allocated or intended will not find its real purpose.
So you're saying that even if they establish these programs in the THA, they need to provide guidance and counseling?
Yeah, there has to be a level at which we interact with the population. And we have this flow of, I say men in this particular instance, this flow of people that do not fully understand or are not prepared from a particular place to access these things and to utilize them properly, while this is the benefit of this generation, the generation to come.
So your advice is to train who has to train these young men first before they initialize these programs in the THA and, well, a broader spectrum of the Trinidad and Tobago space?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and this is what Men of Purpose is providing?
This is what Men of Purpose is all about.
Okay, so what is the process for registration or sign up? If I see a young man on the street that I think, has the potential, or any young man in particular that has the potential of being mature, getting themselves back out into society as a functioning youth, eventually having a family, eventually having a business of their own, like yourself, what is the registration process? What should I do? How do I get on to you?
Well, the thing is that most of our references that people would know of us, and they will call us, contact us, and we will interface with these things. Now, this is the level of interfacing is very, comes from a place where, for example, we interface with them at the homes.
Yes.
If the police is in the yard, we go there. If they have an interference with mother and son kind of situation, we show up there. We show up in the court. We show up in the law offices. We provide those kind of assistance. We go to court to support them once they are members of Men of Purpose.
Yes.
So it is a level of interfacing that is not just counseling.
Yes.
We have to know who's their mother, who is their father, who is their brother. We there, you show up, for example. We have had instances where we show up, police in the yard, all the neighbors seeing what's happening. So it's a different level, and the response is different.
Yes.
Nobody wants somebody showing up in the yard to quell a situation. So there's a certain psychological effect, and we pray with them, we call them, we pray with them, we counsel them. It is a whole different level at which it's not just counseling, come into a room and say, well, what is your problem? How you see this, how you see that. No, it's a real time.
It's getting to know them on their level.
It is.
So I'm going to throw it out to you. What is the process like internally? When you join Men of Purpose, what do I expect? Yes, you show up in the homes and get to understand the environment and everything. But what is the process, the step-by-step process like in terms of getting a man where he needs to be?
Well, in the first place, one of the things you have to do is that we have to build the confidence in that you're really interested in their outcome.
Yes.
And that is one of the biggest challenge, really. Because they don't know you don't really know them, so to speak, and you are coming into the space. What it is about you, why I must respond to you in a particular way, why do I need to change my behavior to suit you?
Yes.
And that is the challenge. So we have to go there, and we have to make sure that they understand at what level we're coming in to deal with them, and really and truly, that is the process. That is the process where we is a slow process. You have to talk with them. You have to build the confidence, reshape their identity, show them that you really care about them. That's that underlying facet that you care about these men, and you restore their confidence, and they begin to work with you. Yeah. It takes time.
Yes. So I just want to put in here, because I love how you said that, well, it's basically a stranger that you're meeting.
Yeah.
And you want to befriend them first before, getting into this process with them. Because overall, I think it's important that we form a relationship first with people instead of taking an authoritative approach. You don't want to command them, but you want to help them along their journey.
Yeah.
Right. So it is important. I commend you on that one in getting to know the young men first before actually getting into what a man of purpose is supposed to be. Yeah. Right. So as we wrap up our interview this morning, I just want to ask you one more question, and that is, how do you think men of purpose in the long run will curb our violent society, our growing violent society today? Because we see that, we knew about, unfortunately, bad Trinidad, right? But now we're hearing about messy Tobago.
Yeah.
We hearing about the increase in the crimes, a lot of gang warfare and stuff, and these things are happening in Tobago. Yeah. So what do you see the long-term contribution of a man of purpose into society doing to curb this violent situation?
One of the things we did, and we're going to return to that, is that we actually went on into the street, into where they're smoking, where they're gambling, where they're doing, and actually go inside of there,
right,
and work with them. But what our goal is that once they are restored, they take up the mantle in going into that same location,
right,
or bring their friends on board and begin to use the same process to reach those people that we will never reach. Because there is no way we're gonna know the list of men and what their activity is. And trust me, if you understand the list of activity that is happening, you really will not be able to see. You can't sit down and just do nothing about it. So we're using the same men to go back into the space and restore the thing.
In a sense of each one reach one.
That's correct.
Yes, right. I think that is that's a good approach, actually, right? Because, if I see that my friend has been helped out in this sense, and they're coming now to talk to me, to encourage me to do the same, I think I'll be very receptive.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a very good initiative. I congratulate you, Mr. Lord, for seeing, the need to fix, in a sense, all young men in the society today, and have them realize what a man of purpose is supposed to be. All right. So viewers, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much, Mr. Lord, for joining us. For more information, you can contact Mr. Lord at 737-0420. That is 737-0420. We continue on our program this morning into shark-infested waters. We know it's a very hot topic. Our interviewer is excited about it. The person coming to speak is excited about it. So we encourage you to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
with a smile on your face. When you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning and welcome back to Youth Wednesdays and Tobago Updates morning show. You're viewing us live here in Portmore, Scarborough, Tobago, and this is, we want to shift the conversation to a very important and brewing topic this morning surrounding the shark attack that happened or occurred over the weekend. You know, we have been hearing a lot about it. We have heard a lot about controversy. There's been a post from the Tobago House of Assembly, and there were those, of course, who were affected. And this morning we want to bring Mr. Michael Frank, head of Frankie Tours here in Tobago, boat operator and tour operator at Boca Reef, this morning to have this discussion surrounding compensation. Good morning and welcome, Mr. Frank.
Good morning, Trinidad, Tobago, and the wider listening public. Good to
How
be
are you
here.
this morning?
Well, I'm very good. No complaints on my side.
I mean, we might know that you are very instrumental in providing a very tangible service as it pertains to the tourism aspect of Tobago. Just share a bit about that and about yourself and how long you've been in this business.
Well, I've been into this business approximately 45 years. I'm what you consider the old man in the business.
Right. And how many boats do you currently have?
Well, in total, we have about 5 boats, but operational, we only have 2.
Okay, all right.
We have different types of boats. We don't just have glass bottom boat, but we also have fishing boat and speed boats. So we could do a multiple different type of tours. So it's not just going to the Book Reef. We can do trips around the coast. We can do fishing, any type of fishing you like. We can also do like trips to like go view dolphins and rays and turtles and sightseeing.
All right. So you have been in this business for quite some time, and you know, how has this shark attack, if we want to have a better term, would have affected your business, and what was your first thought when you heard that, you know, there might be we might have shark infested waters?
Well, you have to remember that we are in their space. They have always been shark here. So it's not a fact that they are interfering with us. We are actually in their space, and we are just trying to see if we can live with them. The issue arises when there is a problem with a specific shark. And that's where the problem comes in right now. As we said before, we think the shark is either injured or it has some type of problem. That's the only way you can get shark attacking people. Shark don't go out to attack people. We swim with shark every day of our lives. This is their natural habitat.
All right.
When there's a problem,
go ahead.
When there's a problem, then you find this happening. It's not just here in Trinidad and Tobago, but it happens all around the world. You have to remember that human being is not actually food for shark. They are curious. If a shark bites you, it's just going to bite you and release because they are just curious. A shark don't directly go out of his way to go hunt human. Otherwise, we would never be able to use the ocean. So when there's a problem, we have to learn to treat with it sensibly because it's not something that's going to happen not in the next 100 years, I can show you.
Right.
It's just something that's extremely rare.
And I'm sure this is your expert opinion on the matter, yes?
Yeah, it is. And it is the expert opinion overall. I mean, if you used to Google shark attack, you will see maybe you get one attack in every, 100 million people. It's extremely rare. It's not something that happens very often.
Right.
I think last year, globally, you had about 60 shark attacks. Globally.
Right.
We have billions of people traversing the ocean.
Right, and yes, certainly this is this is definitely something very novel and very rare for Tobagonians to experience. But in light of that, it has occurred. You mentioned that we ought to treat with it sensibly. How would that look like for you? If you were the powers that be and the experts, how would you treat with the matter? How would you, or rather, how would you suggest that the matter should be addressed?
Right. In the beginning, in the initial beginning, it would be a shock. It's a shock for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I am not against the government for shutting down for a short while. But once the shutdown has occurred, we should put things in place, and we are putting things in place.
Mm-hmm.
I was in a stakeholder meeting, and it seems very promising. Everybody's putting things in place for a reopening back, because we cannot let a shark hold the country hostage. Life has to go on. There are many different people's livelihoods depend on the ocean.
And do you agree that with the measure in closing, I think it's 5 beaches, surrounding this issue? I mean, it's one person was severely injured and so on. But do you agree with that being a part of the measure taken to ensure the safety of others? What is your thoughts?
I actually support it. The reason why I support it is because it shocked the community, it shocked the country. And one of the good ways to deal with things that you don't know too much about is to close and reopen. It's all about safety. You're not looking at, in the initial stage, it's about the security of the people. Without the people, we have no business. So a shutting down is important because you can reassess and you can make better plans for the future. But once the shutdown is in place, it's time for we to do a phase reopening or a reopening, because you have to start testing the waters. You have to start knowing what. This has been about a week now. There is no sighting of the shark in about 3 days or so. For all you know, the shark could be dead, or it can be already way off to Venezuela or even further, because they are pelagic fishes. Most of them don't stay in one place. They tend to move around. Although there are some that tend to live in this area, but most of them would be pelagic and move from place to place.
You mentioned
the time has reached now. The time has reached now where we should start reopening.
Right.
Even if it's not 100%, it should be a phase reopening so that at least we could start testing the waters and know what's going on. Right?
Certainly. So I heard you mention earlier that you were in a stakeholder meeting, and you said that some of the things emanating from that meeting seem very positive for you. I know that you're here on the premise of compensation. Was any such thing discussed at the stakeholder meeting? And if not, what are the things that were promising to you coming out from that meeting?
All right. This was one of many meetings we did. The one yesterday was not about compensation. The one yesterday was mainly about a phase opening and how we can put things in place in case something like this happens again. But we had a stakeholder meeting before this, which was day before yesterday, and that one we talked about compensation and how we can literate some type of assistance to not just reef operators, but all the people who operate in the marine space that is extremely affected by this. Right. So yesterday was mainly about putting things in place, putting securities in place, putting other things that we can be more vigilant in case something like this do happen again. You see, this time around we were unprepared, but going forward, we have to be a lot more prepared.
Yes.
So we've just been putting a lot of different things in place to protect our people and ourselves in case something like this has to reoccur.
All right.
And on the term of compensation, we had that conversation 2 days ago. It's an ongoing conversation, and I know the government put their best foot forward.
Right.
And make sure some type of compensation is being forthcoming to not just the boat operators, but all the people in the space.
My question to you is coming from concerns from the public. People are arguing, but how is compensation even a concern now, given the fact that there are other externalities that could prevent you from prevent tour operators from operating? What then is the argument for compensation also, like rainfall and so on? Why is it necessary for or feasible for compensation at this time, given that it's something that would be considered force majeure, act of God, something that was unforeseen and so on. And my follow-up question is, what would compensation look like for boat tour operators on that premise? Care to share?
Yeah, sure. Look at it from this point of view. If, God forbid, that tomorrow morning the government comes in and said, you cannot be a reporter anymore because something has happened on the airways and you are sent home, would you not be looking for some type of compensation from your employer? Answer is yes, because you're sent home not by your faults,
Right, but
not by your cause.
however,
Continue. Let me continue.
go
Let me
ahead.
continue. We are not hard and fast about
Mm-hmm.
compensation. We would look at the government to do something because we have families to feed as well. We have a whole entourage of people that we have to support. Frankie Tours is not just about Frankie Tours. Frankie Tours is about our people. So there's a lot of people that work here, and most of them are on the breadline. I mean, we can contribute something to them, but at the same time, this is the responsibility of the state because the state is the one who is shutting down. We have been shut down for COVID for 3 years, flat 3 years. We didn't have any type of compensation. We had some minor compensation in the beginning, but generally none. So we cannot always take the fall because the beaches has to be closed. There has to be a middle ground. There has to be an area where we said, okay, enough is enough, and these people still has to survive. You understand? So I might be financially stable, but what about the other people who is now starting out? What about the people who has just started their business 6 months ago or 4 months ago and has the bank to pay and has all type of mortgages and all type of other things? We have to think outside of the box. This is not personal about me. I am just a face that fights for everybody else. You understand? So this is not about me, but it's about our community.
Understood. And my final question to you is, how would you answer to the concerns that, well, we are saving a lot of lives if we open back the beaches anyway, and it saves everybody a lot of money. It saves you money, it saves the state money. How do you answer to that? These are concerns emanating and questions emanating from the public.
Yes, ma'am. I'd like you to repeat the question. I didn't really hear you properly.
So there's a benefit of closing the beaches for both the reef tour operators, who may lose significant traction and tours in the long run if they don't close the beach, for a reputation of not being responsible, and also the state benefits for saving a lot of lives who may be affected by the shark if they don't close the beach. How do you answer to those arguments coming from the public?
Right. Well, as I said before, I don't have a problem with the state closing the beaches. I think they did the best thing. We were all shocked and surprised. So closing the beach would be the first thing to do, because you're protecting the people. But once that is done and we have figured out, okay, so this is the scenario, we have to start making solutions and we have to start putting things in place for everything to restart it. Understand? So the state has done what they has to do, and I think they did the right thing. But now we have a point where, okay, we cannot be held hostage. We have to move on. Life has to continue. We are human. We are the top of the chain. So we can't allow a shark to stop us from operating. So it comes into play that because of this happening, so many people are out of a job. So I think it's the right thing for any government to do, to support the people that is financially stressed by this. Because I said before, this is not just about me. This is about all the other people who's out there who is struggling for a daily bread. This is going to cause a major problem for them. The longer we stay closed, the longer the problem occurs.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Frankie. I hope you don't mind me calling you Frankie. Guys, this is Mr. Michael Frank, head and owner of Frankie Tours. Continue doing your good work, and I do hope that something feasible comes to those who are affected by this. And again, I want not condolences, but empathies from the Tobago Updates family goes out to the family of the person who was affected by this shark attack. Mr. Frankie, again, thank you for coming with us. And I do hope that when I come and see you again, I'll get a little blight to come on your boat.
That's not a problem. It's good to be here as always. You take care. And as I said, all our praise goes out to Mr. Smith and his family. And we're looking forward to a speedy recovery from him. Best of luck to Trinidad and Tobago. I think we should be up and operational in a few days to come. So let's look at it from a positive point of view.
All right. Thank you very much. And guys, this brings us to the end of Youth Wednesday on the Tobago Updates morning show. I want to thank you for joining us this morning. And we are out of shark-infested waters, I might presume. And I hope you guys have a spirit-filled and a blessed and a safe day. Remember to share the live, share the live, share the live. We go over to Tobago. Good morning, Tobago, with Miss Combi. And have a blessed day.
Inventor of the U-Dazzle fashion ruler, Mrs. Rona Eastman Jack, is Tobago's foremost authority on intellectual property rights. She's sharing the benefit of her experience with Roxborough secondary students.
Well, one of the greatest benefits is licensing my product to a company in Denmark. And if I didn't have the protect for it, he would not have taken it. So, and then I have the benefit of now looking to license in the United States. And even with my trademark, that's one of intellectual property rights. My trademark now is in multiple countries because of the Madrid Protocol. You have to have intellectual property, you have to have proof of ownership. And if you don't have proof of ownership, they will not take your product to license or sell it as an invention, because you can be an infringement on somebody else's own, and they don't want that. The companies that you license to don't want that problem.
It was inspiring to me that I got to meet one of an inventors from my country. So it was inspiring for me.
This year's theme is Women and IP, Accelerating Innovation and Creativity.
If you have it protected, then you skip the having to prove yourself, and then you would be able to say, no, I have my trademark for this. I have an industrial design. I have a patent. I have my poems, or my book is copyright protected because it's original work. Your pictures are original. You know, you would be able to have those particular rights.
April 26th is World Intellectual Property Rights Day. Lectures were conducted at Roxborough Secondary School and Goodwood High School to mark the occasion.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
No place like home, home, home.
Oh, I love Tobago, baby.
When we outside, it's an ocean of love. All that we align to the stars up above. Let we dance now, take a chance now with me. And we go jump till morning. Look, the moon gone sleeping. Tell them we not leaving. Till the last drop of a canal is madness in the capital. So I feel like I'm running down again. Jump and shake the ground again. Live with all my friends and them. No place like home. 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 We go jump till the moon come down. As we put the stars shine on. Play a mass us and break away. Freedom in we DNA.
Welcome to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates Television and viewing us on Amplia 102 and also on our Facebook streams. I am Adana Kambi and welcome to May 1st. Yes, we are in May, the month of May. Welcome to the month of May. We are going to head straight on into our news in 90 seconds.
News in 90 seconds is brought to you by Standards, never beaten on quality and prices.
Chief Secretary Fali Augustine has led a delegation from Tobago to the Caribbean Council's 2024 Annual Reception and Business and Investment Seminar in London, England, from May 1st to 2nd. The Caribbean Council will hold its Business and Investment Seminar at the High Commission of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, focusing specifically on Tobago this year. The Chief Secretary is expected to deliver the keynote address. In Augustine's absence, Deputy Chief Secretary Dr. Faith B. Israel will serve as Acting Chief Secretary. The Environmental Management Agency has launched an investigation into the devastation of a turtle nesting site at Turtle Beach. A distressing video circulating on social media depicted the distressing sight of the turtle eggs destroyed. Allegedly, a private developer is responsible for these destructive actions as part of their beachfront development work. With the turtle nesting season in Tobago from March to September, it is anticipated that turtles will come ashore in the nest. In response, the EMA is urgently appealing to Tobagonians to identify the perpetrators of this atrocity and promptly report any pertinent information to them. And finally, the National Transformation Alliance leader Gary Griffith questioned statements made by the National Security Minister Fitzgerald Hines about 56 missing firearms spanning from 2018 to 2023, as disclosed in the Senate yesterday. These firearms comprise 42 legally owned private individuals, and 14 allocated to members of the police services, Trinidad and Tobago Defence Force, and the prison service. However, Hines could not ascertain whether any of these firearms were subsequently involved in criminal activities. In response, Griffith remarked on the peculiar focus solely on firearms lost since 2018, highlighting that no firearms issued to civilians between 2018 and 2021 were reported lost, stolen, or linked to crimes. He attributed this to the rigorous criteria and stringent processes implemented from 2018 to 2021, requiring firearm user license applicants to meet 14 specific criteria before obtaining a license. And that was your news in 90 seconds.
Life is good with Zero. Zero interest for 6 months. Zero down payments. Zero stress payment plan. That's right. With Standards My Terms, we are putting the power of zero in your hands. Now, you can get that new sectional, fridge, stove, or TV for zero down. Pay zero interest later and enjoy a zero stress payment plan plus quick approval within 48 hours. Standards. Never beaten on quality and prices.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago. I am Adana Kumbi, and we have interesting conversations this morning in studio, so we're so happy that you're here and that you've chosen us. We're speaking this morning with Assemblyman and Secretary with the responsibility for food security, natural resources, the environment and sustainable development, Assemblyman Natisha Charles Panton, and we're also speaking with Assemblyman Niall George. He's the Assistant Secretary in the Division of Settlements, Public Utilities and Rural Development, and also the area representative for Plymouth Blackrock. And we're having a very interesting and important conversation this morning. You might have seen a circulation of a video on social media platforms yesterday as it relates to the species of turtles. Very, very disturbing indeed. And so we're going to have that conversation this morning to get some more information, some insights or updates, and also to discuss the actions that are going to be taken, if any, and you know what sort of recommendations are being made in this instance. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, Tobago.
Good morning, Scummy. Good morning, Tobago.
Right, it's always a pleasure having you on our show to discuss, you know, relevant and pertinent things that are happening. And right now we have something that is happening in real life, real time, and affecting not only the existence of these turtles, but I feel as if sometimes people don't realize that the actions also affect human life, right? And human sustainability and the way that we preserve what we have for generations to come. So we've seen this video circulating on social media as recent as yesterday, where a developer, a landowner, has dug some trenches on a property close to his. I'm not even certain if where he dug is even his property. So we want to clarify that as well, right? And we want to, he's saying because of what has happened in the past with his property. But first and foremost, can we clarify where this development, and I'm putting in inverted commas here, this development is taking place? Is it on the property of the owner, the person who is doing this development? Where is this taking place?
Well, Ms. Combe, it's the development is mostly taking part on their property. Mm-hmm. But the trenches that were dug, that's been far-reaching because that spans onto the beach. Mm-hmm. And that is where the ambiguity is taking place. Now, we have this turtle nesting site, the main turtle nesting site on the island. Beyond the environmental effects that it can have, it is also a crucial element of our tourism product. And this is something that we need to protect and we need to have intact. So that's why we are reaching out to the agencies, the relevant agencies, to deal with the situation.
The thing about it is that this is, I mean, in my mind, I'm thinking that some of these areas should be protected. I know you said that part of where he's digging is on his property, but it also extends beyond. Yeah. Does a citizen, an average, a regular citizen, have permission or authority to do any type of development on any property that is not theirs, that was not issued to them by any agency, whether it be government, private, whatever? Do they have the permission to do something of that nature?
So it's a very delicate situation because we don't want to infringe on anyone's right to their property. But in developing your property, there could be repercussions for others neighboring. And that's where the issue is with this property as far as I am concerned as the area representative, because recently there were some heavy rains and you could see the potential for a devastation within the community, because there's serious flooding in areas that never had that type of flooding before. And as I said before, I want to reiterate it, the landowner has all rights to enjoyment of his property, but he also does not have the right to destroy others. So where his property is concerned, we would like him to be able to develop his property, yes, but it's the way it is being done, and we would like all stakeholders to be in a mutually beneficial relationship where everyone would enjoy the development.
And you're saying, where all stakeholders will be able to will come to a mutually beneficial situation, especially for the people in Tobago, the tourism. There are so many things that are impacted by this action. And I know that there are some spaces that are protected, right, because of the habitation there and because of, certain things that take place in those areas. Is this one of those areas? And if it is not, are there any discussions on the table now to ensure that areas like this are protected from any type of development or any other sort of activity that might disrupt the habitation?
So it's not currently protected, but conversations have been had in terms of turning it into a marine park, which would then give it some sort of protection, much more protection than it's now able.
All right, and we also understand that the landowner has been doing this development for a period of almost a year or up to a year, and we're now hearing conversations. Is it that the impact is only now taking act? The impact is now, you're only now seeing the results of the impact, or is it because if he's doing this for over a year, how long has the conversation been going on, and who are the stakeholders involved in the conversation?
So we have to operate by law, and the conversation has been going on for pretty much a year. I've met with the landowner, I've met with the village council on numerous occasions, because the calls have been numerous. It's not something that a secret as to the potential of what could happen. So we are trying to be proactive. The rainy season is approaching us, and we are very well aware of what can happen. And that's the reason why we have been keeping the conversation going and trying to come to an amicable solution.
And we're talking about stakeholder involvement and discussions and conversations like this. And I know that the agency EMA was mentioned, even in social media by regular citizens. Are you in conversation with them as well? Of course, are they partnering on this matter to ensure some measures are put in place, or what is the relationship like, and what is the conversation sounding like where they are concerned?
So
I'll answer that. So I've been holding discussions with the Environmental Management Authority, and we all know that the species, the leatherback turtle, it is an environmentally sensitive species, and under the Act, you could be fined up to $100,000 and about 2 years imprisonment, right? So just based on that. And even the nature of the activity. I'm not a lawyer, the intricacies of the law, but this type of activity should require a CEC, a Certificate of Environmental Clearance. So we're basically calling on the EMA to act. Yeah. The turtles, the turtle season, it spans from March to about September. And, to have seen, whoever it was that did the excavation on the beach, to just do that and have no thought about the impact on the species, that in itself is, so disheartening. Yeah, so we are essentially calling on the EMA. It's been a year and some, for them to act.
And you see, I specifically asked that question because I know sometimes when we see something and we don't have all the information, you're left to coming up to your own thoughts, and you're left open to just, speculation.
Yes.
And so it is important to know that the conversation has been ongoing for at least a year between yourself, the landowner perhaps, and the stakeholders, all the stakeholders, the village council, and all the persons who are impacted by this, because as I mentioned earlier, it doesn't only affect the species of the turtle.
Correct.
What we don't realize is that human behavior impacts so many different, our very own lives.
Correct.
And I know in the past in the news where we would see people being charged and fined for interfering with the same turtle, trying to ride a turtle, trying to unalive a turtle, And so I want people to come to the realization that it's not something to take lightly. It has happened and the discussion is ongoing. There is an importance. It is very, 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 very important that we protect the species. Listen, we want to protect human lives. The species, human beings, we want to protect ourselves. It is also important for us to protect other species, whether it's wildlife, whether it is marine life. And talking about marine life, we're going to talk about that other topic shortly as well. And so, I just want to join with you to inform the public that it is not something that we just saw the video yesterday, but the conversation is ongoing. It's very important. And the primary objectives, I will leave that to you to tell us what the primary objectives are. Assemblyman, I know you said that eventually you want to turn it into a marine park, so it would have some measure of protection. And I want you to just tell us a little bit more. What are you trying to get out of this, at the end of the conversation? What are the primary objectives?
Well, there are several things you can do. The area can be designated as an environmentally sensitive area, or maybe even a heritage park. So there are many different options and models that we can look at. But what is important in this is that we need the public to report what they see, and for the authorities to basically give us the information that we need. And let me give you an example of what happened recently. So we have about 6 game wardens. As a matter of fact, we only have 6 game wardens at the division, and they have to respond to several complaints all over the island of Tobago. And they were responding to a matter on the port where someone had iguanas. Yeah, so they did search and they found the iguanas, and the matter was taken to court, and nothing came of it, right? A warning, and then, so they were caught up with dealing with the iguana issue and other reports around the island, just 6 of them. So by the time they got there on April 30th, the equipment was just parked at Corlan, so they didn't know who did it. And that is why we're asking the public. I mean, people know who did it, right? I don't know what is the fear of saying, well, this gentleman, he was a driver, but we need to know who, right? And EMA has a hotline, and they're asking for information, 367-8824, and you can WhatsApp to EMA 226-4EMA. Yeah, so you use that hotline and please report what you see, and they will keep the information confidential, right?
And you see, the thing is a corporate effort. We all have to kind of band together to ensure that we preserve what we have here in Tobago. And not only, I know you mentioned that we want to know who the driver of the equipment is. I want to know who the owner is.
Yes,
right?
Well, right.
So the issue with the equipment is that the equipment had Bono markings on it. And as the secretary said, by the time the game wardens got there, no one was there.
Okay.
So it's up to the residents and the persons who were present to bring forward information.
So an investigation is ongoing to have conversations with these with the persons who are responsible for doing this. All right, so this is where we are right now. Conversations are ongoing. The issue is a private developer is doing a development on his own property, which extended to a beachfront, the beach part of close by to his property, causing damage to, the nesting area of leatherback turtles. And we saw some destruction of eggs as well, which means, of course, that these eggs will not hatch and we will not have those turtles on our shores. And so the conversation now is ongoing with the stakeholders, which include the Tobago House of Assembly representatives, the EMA, other stakeholders, village councils, and the call is now upon the community at large. If you see something, to report something, if you have any suspicion or any idea or any inclination, so please come forward. You can contact the AMA. As Secretary said, the information it remains confidential, so you don't have to be in any fear of anything like that. Let us come together. This is a situation we want to take seriously, and we want to resolve it in the soonest possible time, in the most amicable way. And eventually, the hopes are, of course, to have the area protected when it is turned, by the grace of God, to a marine park where we can have protection there. Remember, this affects our tourism, which means it affects our dollars and cents, it affects our livelihoods, it affects our culture as well, and it also would leave a sort of a conversation as to who we are as a people. So let us come together to ensure that we can bring some measure of resolve. We're looking forward to hear the outcomes of this as the conversation continues and as decisions are made to protect this area and areas of this sort in the future. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're speaking with Assemblyman Natisha Charles Pantin and also Assemblyman Niall George as it relates to a video recently circulated on social media involving the destruction of some leatherback turtle eggs as a result of development going on a private property. And so this is where we are with that topic right now. We're going to go for a short break before we continue conversations in studio. We're asking that you stay with us, and while you stay with us, phone a friend and share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
We are people in the sun. We are beaches, we are rivers. We are melanated ones. We special and there is no denying Tobago is not.
Deltec Distributors Weekend Special. Wings Friday, 3 pounds wings, 2.5 kilogram fries. Special 100 TT. Soup Saturday, 2 pounds cube beef, 2 pounds cow heel, 2 pounds chicken foot, 2 pounds pigtail, or smoked bone. Special $150. Super Sunday, 3 pounds leg and thigh chicken, 3 pounds sliced pork, 3 pounds lamb slice, 3 pounds cheese, 2 pack of pasta. Special $250. Located Main Road, Argyle, Tobago. We deliver 20 TT. Contact us on deltecdistributors.com 395-5040 or 237-0102. Deltec Distributors Weekend Special.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
Tipsy presents Sip and Paint, an expression of a mother's love. Join us at the Tropicist Beach Hotel, Sunday, May 12th from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Guests are entitled to finger foods and wine. Full package painter tickets only $600. And if you just want to hang out, we've got you. Limers pay $450. You'll be entertained by a special, sensational reggae artist, a live band, and come witness our bonfire. We've got loads of giveaways. We're catering to mom all evening. Sunday, May 12th, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Tropicus Beach Hotel. Come, sip and paint with Tipsy.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago and Tobago Updates Television. I am Adana Kumbi, and we continue conversation this morning in studio. We're speaking with Assemblyman Natisha Charles Pantin and also Assemblyman Niall George as it relates to a recent incident. And we also want to have some conversations as it relates to, we're talking now about an endangered, well, I don't know if it's classified as an endangered species.
That's environmentally sensitive
species. And we have spoken about the issue that took place and the conversation that is happening right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to talk a little bit more about protection in terms of, I know we have an allowance for engaging in hunting, with wildlife hunting, and partaking in the delicacies that can come from wildlife. And there's a period for that to take place as well. And I know sometimes it happens outside of the period. What is that like in terms of what is it I know you are the manager for that particular thing, and how is it for you and your department, your officers, in terms of managing human behavior again as it relates to the hunting season, in and out of season, and having been in possession of wildlife outside of the hunting season?
I have been involved in enforcing the law for 18 years as it relates to hunting, cracking down on illegal hunting. And we had to look at it on two different sides. When the hunting season is closed, now the hunting season is actually from October 1st and ends at the end of February. And then you have 1 month that you have to discard of whatever you have in your fridge, whatever you have, you're frozen, right, or stored. You have 1 month to do that, yeah? And persons don't take it seriously, right? Some persons do not take it seriously. And we have officers, I myself have been, trying to get out there, responding to calls, doing searches, and it's extremely difficult. Even sometimes you get threatened with weapons. So I'm familiar with it as we get threatened with weapons. As a matter of fact, we had officers, trying to protect themselves from firearm, exchange and fights. Because you need to see what is in the bag. You're just asking to see what is in the bag. And as a matter of fact, people even endanger their own lives because they try to evade us. They try to jump into the swamp and, hide the bags. So you get some really creative thinkers, when they get caught. And it's even more disheartening when you face the court. And, the officers, now that I'm the secretary and this continues, the officers would be facing the court and nothing comes of it, no fine. They just get a little slap on the wrist, as you would want to describe it, and release. And even what happened on the port when they searched and they found the iguanas, and, the officers expected that the magistrate would enforce the law and he didn't. And that was in the night. Right, you're sacrificing your family time, your sleep time to serve Tobagonians, to protect wildlife and the balance on the island, the balance in nature, protect our ecosystem. And we understand, everything, how animals contribute to the entire, thrust, protection of the island, tourism, and to have the magistrate just slap and send them off.
I'm tempted to ask what might be the cause of this kind of action, because you're talking here now about, as you mentioned, the balance.
Yeah, but
and I'm wondering if persons, if they have the education, they might have the information, but do they have the education in terms of the balance between wildlife and human life and all types of existences on the planet?
Well, we have to assume So in some instances that people don't know, I do not eat wild meat. So I don't know why it is so sweet to some people, right? But I remember a case where there was a gentleman who decided to clear a section in the Main Ridge Forest Reserve and plant dasheen. And when I investigated it, I was an officer at that time. He said to me that the government gave him land, but the dasheen that grows in the Main Ridge, when you boil it, it's sweet. It does eat like bread. And I had to go through, you know, being threatened and all sorts of things, right? And I said to him, the fine is very hefty, right? We'll have to enforce the law. And I'll also, you know, give you the information, set up, you know, different educational opportunities for education. So but to be honest, he didn't care about that. Eh? He didn't care about that. So we had to go in and do some restoration work in that area that he cleared and planted his dasheen. So that is some of the things that we face. Yeah,
it's very unfortunate to hear this because, and I'm wondering if there needs to be some measure of aggressive public education, because here you are telling me that you've spoken to somebody on an individual basis, explaining to them what the repercussions are.
Yes.
Not just the fines or anything, that is just surface, but in terms of the longevity of the spaces and the places where we live and the generations that will come up that will not benefit from them. I'm wondering if there is anything, or have you considered any aggressive public education to be done where that is concerned, so that people can have an actual idea, something that is visual, that they can actually see what the destruction would look like should they continue in this type of behavior? Because I'm thinking, this is a cultural and a behavioral change that we have to approach.
Yes, and the division we have education was a big part of what I had to do. And we would have done a lot of educational material in schools at different levels, school toolkits. You'll see many different material out there. You'll see my name on it when I was an officer. So we would have done that. And of course, we would have held community workshops. So we set up little workshops across the island to educate. We even speak to the hunters, right, themselves, and ask them to participate, you know, in vigilance. Yeah, and of course we appoint officers, you know, voluntary game wardens across the space as well. So we do educate the public. But I like to tell people, because in my experience in 18 years, regardless of how much education you do, if you don't have enforcement, then it doesn't make any sense. It's similar to what is happening with waste disposal now. Right, I would have built a really nice bin in my electoral district just as I entered office, because they were just piling the rubbish at the side of the road. And there are 2 no dumping signs right next to the bin, because people dump outside of the bin. And even up to yesterday, when I passed by, people dump right by the no dumping sign. So that is why we are appealing to people, to your good nature, that we're trying to do something with Tobago, right? We're trying to build on our image. So please, try to do the best that you can do. Right.
And you mentioned something here, you're talking about having the information and the education is good, but the enforcement aspect of it is where the challenge is. Is there going to be, or has there been any conversation with the persons who are responsible for the law to ensure that they enforce the law? I don't know if you've had that conversation.
Yes.
And what came of it, and maybe to drive the importance, because we're not seeing a change in behavior based on the fact that the enforcement of the law aspect is still a challenge.
We always communicate and hold workshops with the TTPS, right? But the challenge with that is they move them around. They don't always stay, in their post or their position forever. And to combat that, we just do it every year. We educate again, and then they move again, you educate again. So it's a cycle. Yeah. But enforcement is key, because if somebody is fined $100,000 and it's not all, and they spend 2 years in prison, then I can guarantee you that the next person that interferes with the leatherback turtle eggs, they will think again.
That's right. That's right. You know, sometimes you probably might just need to make an example of just one.
Yes.
Just one to drive the point home. So, you know, I want to continue having that conversation. I want to see how it goes, and I would love to see some measure of change taking place there, because of course it impacts and it affects all of us. You know, law, upholding the law and enforcing the law is very important. And you mentioned, you know, even your own experience with seeing persons dumping right next to the no dumping sign. Behavioral changes again have to take place. And you know, we have a little tagline that says Tobago is the greatest little island on the planet. How are we going to do that?
We have to make better choices, right? I cannot be there all the time to see you put garbage into the bin. And then if we have to put a camera by every bin in Tobago, I mean, if we have to get to that, that would be extremely depressing, yeah? To have to get to that, depressing and expensive. So can we make better choices as human beings? And, you know, even the way we treat each other. You know, so let's make better choices. We treat each other better. We treat animals better, right? Because we have to appeal to the good nature of people. Yeah, because people are inherently good, right? But honestly, I don't know why wild meat is so sweet, because I do not eat wild meat.
Yes. I've tasted it once or twice. But you know, we really want to. I agree with you, and I join with you.
Yes.
And let us kind of change the way, I mean, they think sweets, as some people say. I've heard people say this, and they think sweet, and I understand. But there's a period where you can enjoy this, and it's extensive. It's October, to remind me again.
October, there's the 1st of October to the end of February, and then you have 1 month to cook out or discard of what you have.
So let's use that period. Let's use that period to enjoy the all the nice wild meat that we have. You know, you're allowed to do it, so just do it within that period, and abide by the law, and let us not become slaves to the law and having to think, oh my God, looking over our shoulders. So let's just do the right thing the first time. We are going to go for a short break before we continue conversations in studio, as we're speaking with Assemblyman Natasha Charles Panton and Assemblyman Niall George on topics that are relevant to Tobago at this time. So we want you to stay with us, and as you stay with us, we invite you to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules, or if you are having a cooking day off.
Need a fresh start? Upgrade your life with the things you want. At Standard Distributors in Canaan, life is good with zero. Get that amazing fridge, the stylish sofa with zero down and easy financing. Your dream house is within reach. Visit Standard Distributors today. Life is good with zero.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago and Tobago Updates Television. I am Adana Kambi, and we continue conversations in studio. Yes, we still have Assemblyman Natisha Charles Panton and Assemblyman Niall George, and we're having good conversation this morning, and I'm so happy that you're still with us to engage in these conversations with us. We want to talk about an incident that took place recently in Tobago. We're all aware, unless you're living under a rock somewhere, even internationally, people are talking about a recent incident taking place here in Tobago, where there was a shark attack in our shores, where a visitor was, affected by this incident. And so now we've had to put measures in place to protect human life and to forge a way forward in terms of how are we going to continue with our regular activities as it relates to this incident. And so now here we are. We've seen where the beaches have, we've had to close the beaches, of course, for obvious reasons. And so where are we now, and what are the plans? Well, basically what we can talk about for now, where are we now in terms of managing and looking at reopening and, all the other areas that have been impacted by this uncommon behavior in our Tobago waters?
Well, first of all, I just want to extend my deepest, sincerest sympathy to the person who got, bitten by the shark. And it's a tourist, a British national. And, I wish him all the best. I also want to extend kudos to the Division of Health. Kudos to the Secretary and her staff. They did an amazing job. The first responders, they did an amazing job. And these are the things that, we have to boast about in Tobago, that we were able to respond to this situation in the way that we did. And they did a remarkable job at the Division of Health and the first responders. So we are at the point where we are preparing a marine hazard response plan. The only hazard is not the shark, and we have to look at how we manage that entire area. So we are having discussions, TEMA, they are pulling together all the stakeholders, and we are having the necessary discussions. What we should implement, what should start, what the protocols that should be, engaged before the beach is opened. And the beach will be open in short order. So people need not to worry that this would be an extended period. But we have to be mindful that someone was attacked by a shark, and our response as a country, as an island, we have to respond to it, right? So I'm hearing people say, no, it's just one shark, and no. If I or if you, right, were attacked by a shark, the natural response would be to close the beach. Let's look at what happened, right? Investigate the matter, pull the stakeholders together, and come up with a safety measure, right? Implement things that would make any other hazard, control any other hazard in the best way as a country, as an island.
And you're quite right, because there are so many things in terms of making the decision to reopen the beaches.
Yes.
There are so many questions that you have to ask.
Correct.
In terms of, okay, what caused the shark to come ashore?
Correct.
Was there anything that was done by humans, or was there any change in the current, or is it a specific area that they are attracted to? So all these things, I suppose, would lead to your decisions in terms of when the beaches reopen and the protocols that will be put in place for the reopening of the beaches. As it stands now, what is the next step? Where are we now, and what is the first action that is going to be taken? I know we're having discussions. I spoke with Mr. Stewart just yesterday, and he was kind of walking me through where we are now. You might not be able to say, well, the beaches will reopen tomorrow. But what is happening right now in the space in terms of making that decision? He spoke about training for lifeguards and stuff like that. But what is happening? Could you give me some more information?
Correct. Yes. And that is why I said we're developing a marine hazard response plan. Yeah. So training of the lifeguards, educating the public on how to react should they see a predator. right? Not only a shark, but a predator, right? And, you know, so a lot of, you know, things happening simultaneously. So you're seeing it being rolled out, right? And hopefully people are seeing it being rolled out. But, you know, you'd see the educational part of it. And, you know, this morning I had a discussion with my husband as it relates to how people react generally to things that they have a phobia for, right? And now, he asked me what I have a phobia for, you know, and I asked him, and then I went on to tell him I know a young lady who is afraid of cats. She would see a cat and just get ecstatic and run, right? But we have to understand that, you know, how we respond to wildlife. We are in their habitat.
That's right.
And we have to manage how we respond in Tobago to different types of wildlife on the island. Yeah? So I'll use the example. Trinidad has 4 species of poisonous snakes, right? 2 types of mappy pit, 2 types of coral. And Tobago, we have no poisonous snakes. But if we see a snake in Trinidad, Trinidadians know how to respond because they know, they are aware of what is poisonous, they know how to identify it, how to react, who to call. And in Tobago, when we see a snake, how do we respond? The first thing is to kill it. Now, snakes are protected, right? So we have to understand how to respond when we see any sort of wildlife, right? That has to be managed.
And I was, the response part I understand, and I don't know if I was having an official conversation or unofficial, but I also was saying, yes, we have to know how to respond. We have to have the training and the education. But sometimes when you're in a real life situation, all the education goes out the window and you sort of panic.
Correct. And that is what we also discussed. I said to him, it is not like they train us to respond, you know, to calm down. Because if you see a shark and you start splashing up in the water, the shark will automatically think you are prey and it will attack you, right? I don't know if I would just remain calm because I don't swim with sharks on a regular basis. So I don't know how they would respond. So that is why we need to ramp up on education. Yeah, that is important. The chances of a shark biting someone again or eating someone, again, it's very, very rare. As a matter of fact, 1 in every 4 million people in the world. You know, that is the chances. But if you look at it, how many accidents took place since the shark, the tourists? How many accidents? And yet still nobody is saying we're not going in a car again. Right? Yeah. So we have to put a response in place, a plan in place, so that people make better decisions, right? Even people were saying that the turtle eggs, there's a correlation between what happened there and the shark attacking the gentleman. All sorts of hypotheses out there, right? Hypothesis about maybe it could be fish guts being in the sea. We could think about all different things that are global warming. You know, the sharks may come closer to the coastline. So we have all, I mean, and they are plausible, you know, reasons. But we can't say for sure, but we should have a response plan in place should anything like that happen again, and to take the necessary precautions, right? So that things like that don't, you know, we lessen the chances of it happening again.
And, you know, I like the reference you made when you said in Trinidad there are 4 types of poisonous snakes, and so persons kind of know how to respond because it's part of their you kind of, once you're born in Trinidad, you know they have poisonous snakes. So you kind of know, you might have heard it in school. There would have been some measure of education as well. And so the education has to continue as it relates. This is something that is very rare, very uncommon. It's not as if we have sharks living in our waters that will attack somebody again tomorrow. But you never can tell what would happen. Correct. Because the investigations, as I assume, are still ongoing in terms of what caused this action. And so the education has to continue. It has to be aggressive. And persons, of course, have to pay attention. Mr. Stewart was here yesterday, and one of the things he was saying is that people need to ensure they take the instructions from the relevant authorities, the relevant agencies.
Correct. The predator might have been there for a while, right? They might come around for a while. We don't know. So you still have to take the necessary precautions, right? How do you react when you see a predator, right? What should you do? And sharks, people think that you will always see a shark fin coming towards you. No. Even in 3 feet of water, a shark could be submerged there. So you still have to listen out, look out for what we are going to put out there to protect you as a Tobagonian, and also by extension the entire world.
You know, I'm looking out, I'm sitting here and in my brain it's churning, and I'm looking out for some enactments of what can actually happen. You know, I'm looking out to see, can we have something where we gather, whether it's in a pool, for instance, and we have some kind of, you know, real life type of situation to see how people respond.
You see, we looked at enough Jaws movies in our entire lifetime to think that what happened in that movie going to happen now.
Yes.
So we really need to educate the public.
That's right. And you know, it's a good place to end this morning. You know, we're talking about so many things this morning, and right now what is happening is that the education is continuing as it relates to, you know, in preparation for reopening our beaches, in preparation for people to be able to enjoy and engage in an early morning bath. You know, the older people like to go and sap the knee in the morning and stuff like that. So those things are being considered. However, the education has to be put out there. And this is a reminder for you to ensure you get the information from the authorized and relevant authorities. Do not make your own assumptions or your own assessments, because they might not be accurate. And so you want to pay attention to what is being said by the persons who are in authority and responsible for ensuring the safety of human life, the safety of wildlife, and of course a space where we all can enjoy and live quite comfortably. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for staying with us this morning as we spoke about pertinent topics, relevant topics. We had our beautiful Assemblyman Natisha Charles Panton and Assemblyman Niall George here this morning talking about issues relating to Tobago. We will definitely get more information. We'll bring more information to you and keep you posted as solutions come to these situations. Thank you so much. This is where we end. Thank you for joining us. I am Adana Kambi.
And the vibes is never wrong. We are beauty, we are power. We are people in the sun. We are beaches, we are rivers. We are melanated ones. We special and there is no.
You're viewing Tobago Updates